Hello everyone and welcome back to the MCFC Lads Podcast. We're now on episode 14. We are rolling. But Manchester City are not quite rolling as much as we thought we were, Alex. It was a disappointing game last weekend. We did make a match reaction. It was quite a number of days ago now, but quick brief of what you thought about that game, mate.
Yeah, it was disappointing.
Debrief.
It was disappointing. As you said, we did a match reaction, so if you want more detail, go and
Yeah.
watch that. But it was disappointing. It wasn't as bad as some people made out. We weren't horrendous. We just got caught up by a few silly mistakes.
Yeah.
But it's early on in the season. There's plenty of time to get back to winning ways, and doing so before the international break, I would say, is very important against Brighton this weekend.
Also, last weekend, Alex, just a quick update. You did very well on the Premier League predictions. We'll be continuing, obviously, at the end of this episode for the upcoming week. You got 11 points. I got 4. Obviously, you get points depending on correct results, score, etc. And you're now 16-11 up over me after 2 weeks. So you did well. I didn't do too well, but you can't complain with that. Also, I was world number 6 on FPL at some point. I don't really know how that happened. I'm now about 6-7k out of 11 million. But yeah, for any FPL fans out there, fantasy, I don't know how, but I was world number 6. The code to join our league is IHZOZE if anyone wants to join. But yeah, that's cleared up last weekend stuff. Moving on pretty swiftly from what was a pretty bad weekend. A few bits of City news, Alex. Akanji potentially on the way out. We're looking at Crystal Palace, Tottenham, AC Milan. There's a few teams that are looking at him. What do you make of that?
It's good news that there's plenty of teams in for him, because hopefully that generates some sort of bidding war, which means we'll get a little bit more than we would have if the demand was low. I'm all for get rid of Akanji. He's been a great servant to the club. Was really important in the treble season. Not quite been at it in the last year or two. Well, I'd only say a year, to be fair. We've got a lot of centre-backs at the moment. We don't need as many as we've got. Kusnov, Stones, Ake, Diaz, Gvardiol. So losing one's not going to harm us at all. I think it's time the club probably is up, so I would cash in now. Hopefully we get our money back. I'm sure we will. He was an absolute bargain when we signed him. But yeah, good luck to him wherever he goes, and fingers crossed it's done by Monday.
Yeah, the squad just needs thinning a little bit. It sounds harsh, but it's a reality that we know exists. So yeah, with all due respect to Akanji, I think his time might be up. The Donnarumma stuff, it won't go away. Fabrizio Romano is just waffling on and on and on about it. I'm not sure it's going to happen. We've said this a couple of weeks ago. It seems like it's gone on for ages. I personally think Ederson stays and him and Trafford are sharing games for the season. I've said that all along. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think we're the same. I'm so bored of this Donnarumma stuff. It's like I don't even pay attention to it anymore.
Boring.
Every single day, Romano just has the same thing. The talks progress in personal terms agreed, and we're working on it. It's like, yeah, we get it. It might happen, it might not. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't care if it happens or not. I'm more than happy with Ederson to stay. But equally, if he does choose to go to Galatasaray, fair enough. I'll take Donnarumma as a backup, not as a backup, but as a replacement, and we'll go from there. But like I said, I'm just so bored of it all, and I'm ready to get on with the season now. I'm focused with the 2 goalkeepers that we end up having.
Yeah, well, this will be released on Friday evening. At the time of recording, mate, we just watched Pep's press conference. There's a few key things in that. He said Savinho looks like he is staying because Pep said he hopes he'll stay. He said he isn't interested in talking about rumours, as he always says. And of course, City, the transfer window, any activity will be ending in the next week anyway. Savinho put on his story, "I'm missing you," a picture of him at the corner flag with a load of City fans. That was translated from Portuguese, obviously with Savinho being Brazilian. I think he will stay now. I think the whole situation changed. Tottenham were looking at 50-60 million. City said no, we want 70, and now it looks like, because the Rodrigo stuff is not happening, there's no replacement. We're happy with Savinho and he's not leaving.
Yeah, I mean, I always said when it first came out that I was indifferent. If he goes and we get good money and we replace Rodrigo, that's a good replacement. If he doesn't go, Savio is 21 years old, already had a season in the Premier League, and he's got a really high ceiling, so I'm sure he will be a great player in the future. More than happy that he's staying, and fingers crossed he can take another step on from last year, but it's definitely not bad news that he's staying at all.
Yeah, good player, and hopefully he can kick on this season. Hopefully it is his season. I tweeted that out as soon as I heard the news. Pep also talking about Rodri, said he's never spoken to the Spanish manager at all, which is a bit concerning for me. But I suppose these people have, ways of communicating through players, etc. Rodri's been called up to the Spain national team. John Stones has been called up to the England national team. For me, they've both just come back from injury. I'm happy if they play, but I don't want to see them playing 3 or 2 or however many games they have, 90 minutes. I want to see them used sensibly, but I don't think we'll get that.
No, I mean, it's just classic John Stones to finally be back to full fitness, then gone international break, and he'll be injured for a month or two, and he'll be missing from the Real Madrid game, whatever. And it's so frustrating. In my opinion, we all know John Stones is England's best defender. Thomas Tuchel should just leave him out the entire year and just put him for the World Cup. We know he's capable. We know he knows the squad. He doesn't need to bed himself in. He's proven himself. Let's just look after John Stones for the year, give him a good season at City, make sure he's fully fit, and then he can go to America for the World Cup and then call it quits after that for England, hopefully. But yeah, with Rodri, again, just like you said, I'm okay if he plays a few minutes here and there. He needs minutes in his legs, but again, I just hope they don't overuse him and we get an injured Rodri back, because that would be so frustrating, especially with the derby straight afterwards.
I'd be happy with him playing 2 lots of 60 or 190 and 140 or something like that. We just don't want to see them get burnt out, because it's right at the start of the season. These international breaks that are coming up are so frustrating as well. We see them all the time, and it is just frustrating. It's very frustrating. Moving on from that, Ait Nouri's injury, Pep said, we'd actually heard from the Algerian manager who's called him up to the national team about 2 or 3 days ago, and he said that Ait Nouri was available for City, and it seemed a bit out of the blue, but Pep's now confirmed that he's ready to play. So any FPL fans out there as well, he will be available for the game, and more importantly, we're not going to be making a makeshift defence. We have got our left back ready to go against Brighton, which is good. We've obviously talked about the Tottenham game that was disappointing, but again, there was a reaction to this when it came out. The Carabao Cup draw, Huddersfield, Alex, away.
Yeah,
take that.
Good draw.
Yeah, we'll take that. Should be a decent away game. And then obviously the Champions League games that we made a reaction to. We also did a stream. But for anyone listening on Spotify, YouTube, let us know what you think about the draw, actually. I'd like to hear your reaction. Leave a comment with what you'd rate out of 10, maybe. We've obviously got our 4 home games, Alex, which are, there's a few stories in there. We've got Bayer Leverkusen coming. That's Ten Hag. That's Claudio Echeverri. We've got Galatasaray, Leroy Sané coming to the Etihad. We've got Napoli, KDB, arguably our greatest ever player returning to the Etihad. And the other game has slipped my mind. Who was that again?
The other game is Dortmund, I think you didn't mention.
Yeah, Dortmund. I would have loved to have had that game away.
Yeah,
I would have loved to have had that game away, but it's... Yeah, I know, that's true. Away games, we've got Real Madrid away, which was just the absolute banker. It's boring. We get it every single year. We've got Villarreal in Spain. That should be a bit of an interesting one. I'm sure we'll have a good time there. Monaco as well, and Bodo Glimt right in the heights of Norway. So, I mean, tickets for those games are going to be like gold dust, mate. But hopefully we can get ourselves to a few of them.
Yeah.
That is obviously the Champions League draw. I think we got probably the hardest fixtures of any English team.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fair comment, to be fair. We got some tricky ones in there, definitely.
But I suppose even if you went back to the classic kind of seeding system, we only came 3rd this year. So, if you went back to that. But last year, I think we got hard fixtures as well. We simply have to get into that top 8, though. When the Champions League rolls by after the international break and obviously the derby, we will make sure we do a Champions League predictions on the podcast. So that'll be, I think the first game's 17th kind of time of September. That'll probably be coming just before that, after the derby. So obviously have a derby debrief for that and talk about the Champions League games. So you hear more about them when we know when they are as well, I suppose. Obviously, moving on from that, Manchester United, I'm really, really glad we can talk about them on a Man City podcast. And I don't care for anyone that says we can't, because we definitely can. Manchester United were eliminated from the League Cup before Manchester City even entered it, Alex.
They were against
unbelievable
Grimsby
stuff.
Town as well, at Blundell Park. What a night. We both watched it. I think we both had a sneaky feeling that it was definitely possible they were going to lose. We'd seen how bad United have been this season already. I know people gassed them up after Arsenal, but they still lost the game. They didn't score a goal. Not only did they lose, but the players that missed the penalties were 2 of the new signings, which was fantastic news as well. Their big £60 million centre-forward went 10th. The whole time it was going on, I was just saying, like, he must be injured. Like, it would make complete sense. If he goes 11th and maybe he's just injured and he can't take penalty, I say fair enough. But no, the reason he didn't take it was he just didn't fancy himself against League 2 Grimsby Town, and they've spent, I say 60 million, it was definitely more than 60. I think it was like 70 with Adams as well. So, I mean, it's just
embarrassing.
They're an incredible
every way
group to watch these days. They make me very happy every single weekend. Even when City lose, you can always rely on United to make your weekend. So, fantastic hate watch.
Well, they've got Burnley this weekend. And surely they can't mess that one up at home. But we'll see. Obviously, the Rodrigo deal, I've just got written on some notes here, is also off. We've talked about that. But yeah, generally, there's not that much stuff coming through the door. Most of our business was done. The main concern for me, or interesting one we'll see at the weekend, is whether Edison or James Trafford starts. Pep's not made a choice on that one yet. Champions League draw we've touched on. Alex, it's time for the quiz, mate.
Yeah, so I think the score right now is 3-2 to you, I believe.
It is. This is game week 3 on the quiz.
This week's theme is obviously going to be Brighton and the Champions League. We've had the draw, and Brighton away is on Sunday. We're going to start off with the Brighton theme, and we're going to say, Luke, can you name me the only City player to score a Premier League hat-trick against Brighton and Hove Albion?
Oh dear. Right, so we must have beaten him 4 or 5-0 at some point. It's a tricky one because so many of the away games. You know what, I'm just going to say Jesus.
You're right in thinking that because the obvious answer would have been Aguero or Haaland, and you're right to think that it wasn't one of them, but it was Raheem Sterling in the 2019-20.
That was the second choice. That was my second choice. I was thinking, I'm so good with the trivia questions normally. The away games stick in my mind so much more than a lot of kind of the anonymous home games that just sort of blend into one for me now because I'm 22. I'm getting on. I'm old. Yeah. But yeah, one that was mad for me that I found out the other day. Bernardo has a Premier League hat-trick for City, which is crazy. Against Watford in the 8-0. So yeah, no point for me there, mate, but it's a decent effort. I've sort of had it come back off the post there. What's question 2, mate?
Question 2 is how many of City's Champions League phase draw have we previously played in the Champions League?
We've not played Bodo Glimt. We've definitely played Villarreal. We've not played Leverkusen in the Champions League. We have played Dortmund. We've definitely played Napoli. I'm just making sure I've not forgotten one of these away games. We've got Monaco. We've definitely played them. So how many have we not played, or how many have we played?
How many have we played?
We've played 6 of the 8, mate.
We've played 5 of the 8.
Oh, have I just forgotten one?
Galatasaray.
Oh, that's me rushing, but it's poor. It's poor. I would have known we hadn't played them. I just didn't think about him. Poor.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Not these questions. There's a lot of sort of thinking going on there.
Dropped a blunder.
Question 3, we stick with the Champions League theme, and we're going to specifically focus on Villarreal this time. We played Villarreal twice in the 2011-12 season. That's the only time we've ever played them. Can you tell me what the aggregate score was?
I know we won 2-1 in the last minute at home.
We did.
Aguero scored.
I'll give you that now. That was correct. But what was the away score, I guess?
I know we drew the away game, but was it 1-1 or was it 2-2 is the question. This is harsh, this is harsh. I think we drew it. I'm going to go the aggregate scores 4-3 to City.
I think I probably would have given a bit of leeway on this one because it is difficult, but you did get it quite a significant one because we actually beat them away from home 3-0.
We beat them away?
We beat them 3-0.
Who did we draw to, mate? Who did we draw to? Wait, so that season we got 10 points. That was the first season in the Champions League.
Yeah.
We beat Villarreal
twice.
We drew with Napoli and lost to Napoli. Was it them that drew with Villarreal?
It must have been, yeah.
It was, yeah, okay, I was miles off it. Yeah, I was thinking we got 10 points. I was thinking we drew it. Yeah, we drew with Napoli and lost. We beat Bayern at home and lost. Napoli failed to beat Bayern, but they beat us. Yeah, okay, fair enough. 0 out of 3, that's poor. Right,
so for the next one, I'm going to give you 20 leeway, so generous.
Okay.
Manuel Akanji, obviously as we've just spoken about, linked with moves away from Manchester City this summer. How many times has the Swiss international played for Manchester City? 20 leeway.
Right, we've had 3 seasons of Manuel Akanji. The treble season, he probably played 43 games. I reckon the next season, Alex, I'm going to just 120.
If it had been 15 leeway, you wouldn't have got it right, but with 20 leeway, you do get it right. It's 136 times, so it's a point on the board.
Wow, that's a little bit more than I thought, yeah.
Yeah, well, I believe he's one of Pep's most used players since he signed for the team. He's been...
Yeah, I mean, just about in there, mate, with a 20 leeway. I've scabbed that point, mate. Yeah. 1 out of 4.
And the final one is back to the City versus Brighton theme. I want you to name me one player that has played for both Manchester City and Brighton in the Premier League.
James Milner.
There you go. Nice and easy way to end it off. 2 out of 5. That matches my score last week.
Take that.
Not perfect, but not the end of the world either.
Not great. Puts me 5-2 up. Means you've got to step up next week and get a good score. I'm still in there. I'll take it. Recovered late. Moving on from the quiz, Alex. I got some community questions here. Curtis said, there's a lot of people in the comments that think Bernardo should be dropped, but when was he last injured? I don't think he's asking, I think it's more of a rhetorical question, that one. And I agree. Curtis there saying, it's true, Bernardo doesn't get injured. Pep said that's the reason he's captain. He puts his body on the line, recovery day after recovery day, always ready to go every 3 days, every 2 days for the next game. So it's a great point. Bernardo doesn't get injured and he puts his body, out there for the team. So I rate that comment.
Yeah.
Head Shrinker asked whether the Rodrigo deal was off, which obviously we know's off, so it's a bit of an easy answer. But go on, what were you going to say about Bernardo, mate?
I was going to say, I know he was absolutely woeful on Saturday, but people asking for him to be dropped. I mean, I thought he was excellent against Wolves. I thought he was one of our best players, maybe man of the match option for the Wolves game. So, yeah, he had a bad game against Wolves, but I think in a team with the legs that we've got in midfield now, I think we're going to see a version of Bernardo that's back to near his best. So, for me, I'm absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be starting Bernardo personally.
Yeah, against Brighton, I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure
we'll get onto the team coming up. Yeah. Liam asked what the new 3 kits, can we rate them all out of 10? I'd go 7 out of 10 for the home kit. I don't know about you.
I'm happy to go with that.
Away kit, 8.5.
Yeah, I think it'd be better if it was just a white badge and white thing rather than that reflective silver. But
I do quite like the shiny. Especially under the floodlights. I think it'll look good. 8.5. I think what did slightly annoy me was the fact that you lose half a mark for the fact that the club decided, or Puma or whoever decided, that the collar wasn't going to be the same on the player edition one as the normal kit, which is such a niche problem. It's frustrating when you're buying 100%. A kit for your kid or whatever you're doing, and it's not quite the same as Haaland's. It's a bit scummy, I think. But yeah, moving on from that, Gary the Blue, this is the final community question. Would we rather win the Champions League or the league this season?
That's a difficult one. It's a very difficult one.
You know what? It's very difficult because it's the kind of consequences that come with each one. So if we win the league, I think that means the team is very good and we then will go on to have future success.
Yeah.
If we win the Champions League, we've won the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? But we're not necessarily that good. We're going to be a great side to win the Champions League. But have we rode our luck in a knockout tournament?
Yeah.
If it's, win the league and come second, or win the Champions League and come second, I'm probably doing that. But there's a chance you do a Chelsea or the Champions League and it's just a bit of a fluke. So, based on the consequences, I'm going to go win the league, Alex.
For me, I'm always someone that chooses to win the league over. But the only thing I'd say now is, now we've done 4 in a row, we've ticked off a lot of things with the league, and Champions League we've still only got 1, which is still obviously absolutely amazing. But I feel like Pep deserves more to his name when his time at City's over. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm leaning towards the Champions League this year. I think at that night.
The thing is, if it means we're kind of back to our best, I'd go league. But if it's kind of win the Champions League and we've still done well in the league, then I'd definitely take that. I'd be more than happy to win the Champions League again. It is a hot topic. I think my dad would always say league. I think that kind of generation would always say league. But at the same time, I'd love to get into the Champions League. We deserve to just fluke one at some point.
Yeah,
as much as I think we will be good this season. One of them where you go, how have they won that? Do you know what I mean? And you go, they've ridden the luck there. They've scabbed a few last minute goals in. We haven't had that We haven't even had that campaign, to be honest, mate. We've never had that campaign.
No, we've just got lucky and just scabbed a few big wins
and got lucky and made it through a bit. Yeah, it's a frustrating one. The Champions League. We've had so many seasons where we should have won it. To be honest, 2019 was a good chance.
2018.
2018, 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023 we won it. 2023, 24, mate. If we'd beaten Real Madrid, we'd have been in with a great chance. So yeah, Champions League for me. Pep, like you said, definitely deserves another one. But we want to be back in there with the league. It is a tough one. Good question from Gary the Blue. We'll give him that one. Make sure you leave your community questions in the comments, whether it's Spotify or YouTube. Try and make them questions that won't just go out of date by next week as well, because there's a few here about the Tottenham game and stuff that obviously we couldn't answer before the game. Moving on, Alex, Brighton away.
Yeah, big game, difficult game. We need to get back to winning ways, 100%. It's a chance to sort of keep that distance from the top not too far. Obviously, at the start of the season, it's not too big of a deal if you drop points, but equally, I always say you've got to be in with a shout at Christmas, and to do that, you've got to keep the pace. So let's go back to winning ways. A good performance needed. I'm confident we'll get back to a similar performance to what we saw in match day 1. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Brighton under Hurtsler, they're a bit of sometimes I think they look unbelievable, and sometimes they're kind of a bit of a damp squib. I do think they're a good side. I think, like Pep said in his press conference, Brighton have been a good side for a while. You kind of know what you're getting. Good passes of the ball, high energy. Last season, it was in that stinky run, and we lost 2-1 after going 1-0 up with a good Haaland goal. This season, I think we're going to head down there and win. Start of the year, we've got to get ourselves 3 points. Liverpool and Arsenal are playing each other, so they can't both win. Yeah. Psychologically, we can be right back up there even after 2 games. I know you don't want to look 3 games even. I know you don't want to look at the table, but it is in the back of the player's mind. If we end up 6 points behind an Arsenal or Liverpool, it's not a good start at all. Especially heading into a 2-week international break that we can't change anything about. Yeah. That from. So we'll go for a little predicted lineup, mate.
Yeah, I think
in
for me,
net,
I'll start off in goal.
It's 50-50.
And I think it'll be James Trafford he'll go for. I think he'll stick with him. He made obviously the mistake on Saturday, but I think Pep will just put his trust in him. The Edison thing, I mean, we don't know everything, obviously. We just go off what Fabrizio says, but there is apparently still a chance that Edison doesn't stay at Manchester City this summer. And so, for that reason, I don't think you can put him in goal because his head's not 100% there. And yes, James Trafford made a stupid mistake on Saturday last week, but I still trust him. I still think he's a good goalkeeper. So for me, it's James Trafford in goal. What do you think?
Yeah, with the goalkeeper situation as well, Alex, I think there was more chance of dropping Trafford if he'd had a worldie game last week.
Yeah.
I think I could have seen, if Edison had announced he was staying, I could have seen Edison starting regardless of how James Trafford had done, which is why it frustrated me, because I thought he's going to get loads of stick here he doesn't deserve when he was going to leave the team anyway.
Yeah.
Trafford in goal, Ait-Nouri left back, that's locked in. The centre-backs... Now, I wasn't too keen on the performances of Stones or Diaz last week. I think they both had a little bit of an off day. You know, we all have them. But talk of Cousinov getting in the side. What do you make of that?
I really want to see him in the team. I think he
I want
started
to see
his
him.
time at
I want to
City.
see him in there.
Apart from that first 10 minutes against Chelsea, he was excellent in his start at City. And I think he was harshly dropped for the rest of the season. And I'm surprised we've not seen more of him. I think the high line has been probably the biggest issue for City so far this season. Teams just sort of playing over it, and Kusanov's pace will massively, massively help. Like that Tottenham first goal does not happen if Kusanov is in the team. Who take out of Stones and Diaz, I don't know. Potentially Stones, if he's gone international duty, just give him a bit of a rest beforehand. We don't want to get him injured. But for me, I'd love to see Kusanov in the team.
Yeah, I'm going to lock it in and say Diaz, Kusanov. Yeah. Like you said, give Stones a bit of a rest. Right back, Nunes for me. Yeah,
I can't see him going Rico 3 weeks in a row. I don't think Rico was bad
a lot of people,
Spurs, but I think it will be Nunes as
well.
A
lot of people are slating both the options. I think a lot of people wanted us to get a right back. Rico Lewis had 2 games. The first one was good. The second one not as good. He's obviously signing a new deal at City. I'd like to see Nunes in there just to get him some minutes as well. When the Champions League rolls by, we might even see Rico Lewis playing in midfield a bit more. We'll see a lot of shifting about, but I want to see Nunes with a little chance at right back for me.
Yeah.
Moving forward, though, who do you want to see in midfield?
I definitely want to see Nico. I saw a little bit of Nico hate after the Tottenham game. Didn't really understand it, to be honest. I thought he was probably our best player. I thought he was very, very solid. So for me, he definitely has to start. I imagine Rodri still isn't fully fit, so I can't see him starting just yet. And then in front of him, we said Bernardo earlier. I'm sticking with Bernardo. And Tijani Reinders, for me, is just a guaranteed name on the team sheet this week.
Yeah, I'd agree with that one. We'll go left wing striker, then right wing. People were criticising Marmoush after that game as well. I'm not in that boat. I think he's a good player. I would like to see him play, but obviously Doku's going to be rivaling him. I would go Marmoush, Haaland, Bob again. I'd give him another chance.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with that front line. I thought Marmoush was poor against Tottenham. Yeah. He missed a few good chances, but it was his first game of the season. So you've got to understand the players are going to take a while to get into their best flow. But I would start him. Doku's a great option off the bench if we need him to take players on, if we're trying to break a team down. Bob, again, I thought he was one of our better players against Spurs. Not his usual best, but still, the ability's all there. And then Haaland's just, again, he's like some of the other names we've named that are just a guaranteed starter on the team sheet.
Yeah, Foden was good against Tottenham when he came on, I thought. But I don't think he'll be one for Brighton personally because he's not quite fully fit, and that's just the nature of the beast. You want to save him a couple of weeks. Same with Rodri. So that's obviously our predicted combined lineup. We'll be doing our predictions now for the games, Alex.
Yeah.
And there's a few spicy ones. So 12:30 kickoff, Chelsea Fulham. What are you saying for that one, mate?
Yeah, it's a bit of a derby. I feel like I remember last year Chelsea struggled with it. I think they won late on. But they smashed West Ham last year, didn't they? So I'll go with Chelsea to win that one in a tight 2-1 win.
You've gone 2-1 now. I actually was... What we're saying, Alex, is we can't match scores, so we'll alternate.
Yeah.
We're not matching scores. You said 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea.
Right. Fair enough.
Man United, Burnley. I'm going to go Manchester United 1, Burnley 1.
I agree. I don't agree with that score. I think United will edge this one. I think they will finally get the win. They are awful, but Burnley are really, really bad. I think Burnley are probably the worst team in the league this year, even though they beat Sunderland last week. I'm going to go with a narrow 1-0 Man United win in a really, really terrible watch.
Sunderland, Brentford up next. This is your shout first.
Sunderland, Brentford. That's going to be a tight game. Two teams tipped for relegation, but Brentford have hit a bit of form recently. Sunderland just lost to Huddersfield in the week, I'm pretty sure, actually, who we've got in the next round, funnily enough. I'm going to say that's going to be a draw, 1-1.
I'm going to go 2-1 Sunderland. I think when they're at home again, mate, they're going to be feeling like they did against, in that first game. So, yeah, I think I back them to win. Tottenham, Bournemouth. Now, Tottenham have had a very good start, but I think Bournemouth did look good when they played Liverpool in the first week. Semenyo is a good player, and I think, surprisingly, Tottenham are going to go behind in this one. I think they're going to lose 2-1 at home. There you are, I've said it.
Yeah, I can see the vision. Bournemouth, like you said, they did look very good against Liverpool on match day 1, although they lost out late on. I think they rested a few players in the week against Brentford as well, because they lost 2-0, 2-1. It's going to be a tricky one for Tottenham. I think it'll be Frank's first points dropped of the season. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw.
2-2 draw, rate that. Wolves, Everton, we'll go through some of these a bit quicker now, I think. Wolves, Everton, is your go first, mate, on this one?
I'm going to go for an Everton win 1-0.
I'm going to go for 1-1. Leeds, Newcastle, I'm going to go Leeds 0, Newcastle 2.
I'm going to go with a bigger Newcastle win than that. I'm going to go Newcastle win 4-1 on that one. Very, very comfortable game for them.
Brighton, Manchester City, I'm going to go with a 3-1 win for City. I think we'll concede, but I think, like we said, I hope we'll be back with a better performance like we were, against Wolves, and I think we'll beat Brighton 3-1. Haaland will get a cheeky brace.
Yeah.
I think they'll score a goal, though.
Yeah, I think there's goals in this one. 2 not great defences, in my opinion. I'm going to go with a 3-2 City win. As long as we win, I don't really care, but I think 3-2 City win.
Forest, West Ham, I feel like this game happens every week, mate.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
It's quite it feels like
it seems like it's a common fixture for some reason. Nottingham Forest, West Ham. Now, West Ham, I think, actually will bounce back a little bit. They've had a bad time, and I think it'd be easy to say 3-0 Forest, but I'm going to go 1-1. I think West Ham will lock themselves in a bit more and get a point here, unexpectedly.
Yeah, you definitely expect West Ham to improve on last week's result against Chelsea. Forest on the high of just being drawn in Europe for the first time today as we're recording this. I think they will win that one. It'll be close. People think they'll go 2-1 Nottingham Forest. Yeah,
you can pick first on the next two, because I just realised that I picked first twice. We've got Liverpool against Arsenal, mate. Big game, 4:30. We'll be on the way back from Brighton when that game kicks off.
Yeah,
courtesy of your dad. Shout out to Mike for driving down to Brighton. That'll be a long old trip, mate.
Yeah, we will be listening to the radio, and surely Arsenal go to Anfield and win. I'm going to say, I'm going to go for 1-1 draw. I think it'll be even.
I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think Arsenal, the defence will get penetrated a bit, and I just think Liverpool will do enough at home, mate. I think they've not really played well up to now this season, which sounds mad, because, they lost the Community Shield, they've won the other 2 games. I think they'll play well in this game, actually, and I think they'll win 2-1. And then Villa against Palace, 7 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, no Monday Night Football because it's an international break. Weird one, 7 p.m. on a Sunday, mate, but I'll just see that one going.
Yeah, Palace have just played in Norway, I believe, against Fredrikstad in their Conference League qualifier. So I think they'll be a little bit tired for this one, getting used to sort of their Thursday, Sunday routine they'll be in for the next season. Villa have started the season poorly, but I do think Villa will just about edge this one 1-0 in a poor game at Villa Park.
Yeah, I can see this. I can see a similar thing happen. I'm actually going to go 2-0 Villa. They were very disappointing to lose to Brentford. Like I said, a team everyone predicted to be quite weak. Palace winning 1-0 over 2 legs as well. I thought they were going to win that about 10-0, to be honest. And that's, just how football works. So they went through. That's the main thing for them. It's obviously you ahead on the predictions. Don't want to drag it on too much, but make sure you let us know in the comments if you are listening to this before the game how you think it's going to go. Let us know your predicted lineup. Get us a community question as well. Fuel us for next week's podcast. That'll be in the international break. But yeah, in terms of that, Alex, anything else for you to clear up, mate? Anything else you want to bring up?
No, nothing really. Obviously, Champions League fixtures are announced tomorrow, so we'll be getting our flights booked to a few of the aways.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Saturday.
Big game on Sunday, and fingers crossed when we speak next time, we're coming into it with a win.
We want to be on 6 points. Obviously, the next game after the Brighton game is the Manchester derby against United. They are rubbish. If we don't beat them, mate, we've had an absolute stinker. But we'll come on to that, obviously, next week or the week after. And yeah, in terms of what we're up to, both cooking away with our own little stuff. Alex, MCFC match days on Insta, MCFC Lads, you've seen all the stuff we get up to as well. Podcast rolling, we'll keep these videos rolling if we can, but what we need from you is a subscribe. We need you to share this video if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, and we need a comment and we need a like. Simple as that. All free to do. We appreciate the support, and if you have enjoyed, please do the things we just mentioned. Simple as that. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.